7 unarmed immigrants. Plus, gas prices reach an all-time high, shooting to $2.15 a gallon in California.
That's all next on Nightly News. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.
The Holy War in the GOP. McCain and Bush fighting hard over religion and politics. Will this bitter battle damage the Republican Party before Super Tuesday? In depth, the Diallo jury. What were they thinking when they reached that controversial verdict? An NBC News exclusive. Nowhere to go. The floodwaters and the death toll rise in Mozambique, a devastated country with only 5 helicopters. And Lifeline, our special report. Can't remember that telephone number? The truth about memory loss as we get older.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. The fight for the Republican presidential nomination, already bitter, moves to a new stage today. It's now a holy war, with the role of the religious right in play between John McCain and George W. Bush. McCain made sure of that today in his appearance in Virginia, a state with another of those open primaries tomorrow. We'll begin with 2 reports tonight. We'll start with NBC's Ann Thompson.
Virginia Beach, the new battleground in the Republican Holy War. McCain today making a bold attack on the leaders of the religious right, comparing them to the lightning rods of the left.
Neither party should be defined by pandering to the outer reaches of American politics and the agents of intolerance, whether they be Louis Farrakhan or Al Sharpton on the left, or Pat Robertson or Jerry Falwell on the right.
Aides describing the assault as the defining moment in McCain's campaign, aimed at moderate Republicans.
The political tactics of division and slander are not our values.
Appealing to voters going to the polls tomorrow in Washington State and in the Super Tuesday states of New England, New York, Ohio, and California. The goal? To tie George W. Bush to the extreme right.
Governor Bush is a Pat Robertson Republican who will lose to Al Gore.
McCain tells NBC News today's strategy is a risk.
But by attacking their leaders, aren't you essentially attacking the people who follow them as well?
Of course not, because the people who follow them are good and decent people who don't practice the politics of exclusion.
The speech in the Works for a Week delivered here in Robertson's backyard met with silence. Robertson out of the country, university. His founder likened Catholicism to a satanic cult.
It has given McCain an edge among Catholic voters as high as double digits in a state like New York, which is enough translated to give him a lead overall.
But at what price?
I think a lot of it is going to come back to haunt Republicans, regardless of who the nominee is.
McCain's not concerned with that now. His first goal is to win more primaries, even if it means rejecting the most conservative element of his own party. Ann Thompson, NBC News, Virginia Beach. This is Lisa Myers with the Bush campaign in Washington State, where George W. Bush accuses McCain of, quote, needless name-calling and playing the religious card.
Ronald Reagan didn't point fingers. He never played to people's religious fears, like Senator McCain has shamelessly done.
Bush declined repeated invitations to distance himself from Pat Robertson and the religious right, saying he isn't going to play that political game. But he emphasizes his record in Texas is one of tolerance and inclusion, that he won 50% of Hispanic votes and more than 60% of women in the last election.
Send a message to the rest of America that we want somebody to lead our party who is a uniter, not a divider.
Bush also all but accuses McCain, who promises to tell the truth at every stop, of lying about phone calls to Catholic voters, suggesting Bush is anti-Catholic.
Senator McCain said on TV, I had nothing to do with that. I don't know what you're talking about. And then admitted he knew the script and approved the script. You know, that kind of campaigning. It's just, you know, it shows the man is willing to say one thing and he does another.
Tonight, the Bush campaign produced a similar anti-Bush message. It claims McCain is distributing in Washington State.
Senator McCain has strongly criticized this anti-Catholic bigotry, while Governor Bush stayed silent.
But some pollsters say Bush himself needs to do more to separate himself from the religious right and reassure moderates religion will not guide his political decisions.
These voters very much see a distinction between religion and politics, and they will very much disavow Pat Robertson politics. That is a huge albatross that George Bush wears across his neck at this point in time.
Bush is counting on victories tomorrow in Virginia, North Dakota, and maybe here in Washington to calm nervous supporters and fundraisers. Says one aide, winning solves a lot of things, and we definitely need a good night. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Seattle.
And in the race for the Democratic presidential nomination, former Senator Bill Bradley has decided to make his stand in the state of Washington, even though a win there would be mostly symbolic. His strategy is a reflection of the strength of the Al Gore campaign, which is already looking forward to the fall. More on that race tonight from NBC's Claire Shipman.
In Washington State today, Bill Bradley, devoting almost a week of precious campaign time, up to $1 million and unusual energy to a contest that awards no delegates, the political equivalent of a last-second half-court shot in a losing game.
I'm optimistic about being here. I feel that these 5 days have been well spent.
It's a gamble to get back in the spotlight before Super Tuesday. While the nation has been mesmerized by the Republican race, Bradley has dropped well behind rival Al Gore in the polls in almost every major state, including Washington. But the vice president, worried about giving Bradley even a small opening, is matching him in advertising dollars here.
I'm not taking a single vote for granted.
Gore is also enjoying the advantages of the Democratic establishment, local party support, union phone banks working overtime. And look at this difference. Bradley visits the Boeing picket line this weekend. A couple of hours later, the same picket line organized into a political event for Gore. Bradley's crowds are growing, though, and he picks up volunteers at most sessions. Andrea Hillman was inspired by him one day and found herself passing out pamphlets the next.
I really just hope that people will pick up the literature and realize that they have the power to, put a spark in the campaign.
But most think it's too late for that.
Very hard to make a souffle rise twice, and his problem is he had a shot and he missed. His plan was to do well in Iowa and win New Hampshire. Bill Bradley essentially had the same game plan as John McCain.
And Bradley's game plan is failing now in large part because of McCain, who not only grabbed the spotlight, but beat Bradley with the independent vote in Washington State by a 2-to-1 margin. Tonight, the Democrats head to California to prepare for a debate later this week and a campaign for the 367 delegates here. The vote in Washington State tomorrow may be an important symbol, but both men know that the big day is next Tuesday. Claire Shipman, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Now to a pocketbook issue that affects just about everyone, the price of gasoline. According to the latest survey of gas stations around the country, the average price of a gallon of gasoline is now up 6 cents in the past 2 weeks alone to more than $1.47 a gallon, hitting an all-time high. What's causing this? What has to happen to turn the prices around? More now from NBC's Robert Hager.
The price of gasoline reaches an historic high today. Menlo Park, California, one station charging $2.15 a gallon for self-service premium, $2.59 for full service.
Astronomical. I can't believe it. I'm going to start riding my bike. These gas prices are just outrageous.
An extreme example, but nationwide, the Energy Department today reports even regular gasoline now averaging $1.42.
That's the highest average the government's ever tracked. And even if you adjust previous prices upward for inflation, you have to go back 2 decades to the era of the gas line to get anything like today's prices.
And what a run-up it's been, says the American Automobile Association's Jerry Chesky.
Gasoline prices in the last 12 months have increased more than 40 cents per gallon, and that's the highest increase that AAA has ever reported for a one-year period.
Transport companies like Christner Trucking, especially hard hit, filling up with diesel to rush meat and produce to groceries nationwide. How does the new higher price affect this company? Co-owner Dan Christner.
It's costing us roughly $10,000 per day. The prices have just nearly doubled and tripled in some places.
So, like others, this trucking firm is now charging food companies more to ship.
I think eventually it has to be passed on to the consumer.
But so far, it's had surprisingly little effect on the prices of food or other consumer products. Our economy is so strong, experts say, that retailers are absorbing the extra cost. As for the future,
I hate to say this, but I think gas prices are probably going to rise in the near term. Even if OPEC agrees to increase gasoline supply, it's going to take a while to get into the marketplace.
if so, with the peak driving season ahead, could be more record-setting gas prices still to come. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
And on Wall Street today, after last week's big sell-off, the Dow was up more than 176 points. It closed once again back above 10,000. The NASDAQ, however, lost some ground today. It was down more than 12 points. Still ahead tonight, our Lifeline special series, Your Health. How do you know if you're simply forgetful or if you're beginning to show the early signs of a dreaded disease?
Instead of having trouble maybe every month or every week, you're having trouble every day.
Your memory, the real signs that something is seriously wrong. That's tonight's Lifeline. And sheer desperation. The rush to save the thousands trapped by floodwaters in Africa.
Not one broken.
These days, it's never too early to think about retirement. Maybe that's why so many people go to Schwab.com. In a few steps, you can open a Roth, a traditional IRA, or a rollover, invest in a range of funds, and plan for the future. Because retirement,
You got the upper.
comes sooner than you think.
Lobster Fest has arrived, our annual celebration of everything lobster. So don't hide. Escape to Red Lobster.
Dad, why do you say?
Because I don't want to be it.
Why do you always die?
That's easy. Because I have to.
Dad, why do you always eat Cheerios?
Because Daddy's cholesterol is kind of high.
And the study shows the whole grain oats and Cheerios can help lower cholesterol when part of a low-fat diet.
Why do you have high cholesterol?
Oh, because Daddy used to eat not such good things before he met Mommy.
Daddy?
The one and only Cheerios.
Right now, a complete pair of glasses is only $99 at LensCrafters.
With this offer, we're making it easier for more people to see. Easier for them to look good, too.
The LensCrafters $99 complete pair sale. Hurry. Offer ends March 11th.
I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy for the drive-thru. And I'm too sexy for my coffee. Too sexy for the groceries. Too sexy for the dry cleaning. Introducing the newly updated Camry. So stylish it could go to your head. I'm too sexy for the slow lane. Too sexy for the neighbors. Too sexy for the car wash.
News tonight at 6. Oregon teams race to the DMV to beat stricter driving rules. So why are some teams supporting the controversial new laws? Their stories tonight at 6 on Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first. Matt Defino, only on Northwest News Channel 8.
NBC News in depth tonight, sitting in judgment. The jurors in the trial of 4 New York City police officers charged in the shooting death of an unarmed black man. These jurors now speaking out on their controversial decision. And on the streets and from the pulpits, many have reacted with anger and disbelief to the verdicts of not guilty. How did that racially mixed jury of 5 women and 7 men reach its decision? NBC's Rahima Ellis has this exclusive report tonight in depth.
For 21 hours, they deliberated, agonizing over what they now say was an inevitable conclusion.
Not guilty.
Is your verdict unanimous?
Yes.
4 New York City police officers not guilty on all counts of murder, manslaughter, even reckless endangerment. What went into the decision? 7 of the 12 jurors agreed to tell us how they reached their sweeping verdict, even though the officers admitted firing 41 shots at an unarmed man. What do you say to the people who are angry with this verdict?
They may be disappointed with the decision, but then they may not have been presented with all the rules and the charges as presented to us.
We agonized over this.
I think I could say there were even tears shed as we were deliberating over this topic.
The jurors say the prosecution never made an effective case for murder or any of the lesser charges. and made some surprising judgments. When a defense expert on police tactics, James Fife, justified the officer's overwhelming response to Amadou Diallo,
Yes, it's my opinion that that was appropriate.
the prosecution never challenged it.
They never brought anyone in there to refute Dr. Fife. We didn't have anything to work with.
And someone may say, how could it be reasonable for an officer to fire all 16 rounds from his weapon, as did Sean Carroll?
There was testimony that in heightened situations of this nature, it is not uncommon for an officer to empty the weapon and not realize that they've emptied the weapon.
What factor did race play in your deliberations? In that courtroom, race was not an issue. Whatever was discussed, whatever evidence that they presented to us, they never brought in racial issues. Are you totally comfortable with your verdict? Can you sleep comfortably at night? On a legal standpoint, I can. Yes. Legally, I followed the law. Legally, you can accept it, you're saying, but emotionally, are you having difficulty?
We have sympathy for that, but legally, those officers were justified in doing what they did.
Diallo's mother came here from West Africa searching for justice for the 22-year-old street vendor who happened to be in his doorway the night the officers were on patrol. She says she understands the jury's verdict, but she expected the officers would be held responsible.
The police have right to defend themselves against innocent men. I find it difficult to understand that.
Both the prosecution and the defense said to you, put yourselves in Amadou Diallo's shoes. That came from the prosecution. And the defense said, put yourselves in the officer's shoes. What did you do? And the judge said, put yourself in the officer's shoes. That was his charge. A charge that unified a jury, but left the city as deeply divided as it was a year ago, when 4 police officers shot and killed an unarmed man. Rahina Ellis, NBC News, New York.
I'll have more news straight ahead, and then Lifeline, the early warning signs of Alzheimer's. The very latest on the science of memory and the mind.
We are healthy, strong, funny, energetic, even sexy. We take good care of ourselves, and we drink Ensure when we can eat nutritious foods like these. Ensure provides essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure is a source of complete balanced nutrition and energy, so we can get the most out of life. Drink Ensure, and drink to your health.
Don't get that, Frank.
Hello?
Crunchy Yummy seafood middle. Mackerel and tuna flavors make it taste so good. Cats ask for it by name.
Amazing as it may seem, the same bare aspirin you take for muscle pain and backaches can actually help stop someone you love from dying if taken during a heart attack. That's why aspirin is the one pain reliever you should never be without. Talk to your doctor now. There, take it for pain, take it for life.
Good evening, Batman. Alfred. I've stepped up safety in the Batmobile, sir.
Really?
Should a villain steal it, someone will track it. If your airbag goes off, an advisor will assist you. If you're stranded, satellites will help locate you.
And where have you put all these things?
Just press the on-start button, sir.
Well done, Alfred.
My pleasure, sir.
I'm sorry. How can I help you, Batman?
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
Well, when I got hurt in this work, thought I had supplemental insurance.
Supplemental insurance? What's that?
Aflac. Well, even best insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay, other expenses. This does.
What does?
Aflac. That's about it at work. Really? What's it called?
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Aflac.
next week. Don't let fear keep you from getting medical information that could save your life. Join Katie Couric in the fight against colon cancer next week on Today.
It's like Today, only later. Later today, weekdays on NBC.
Overseas now to Vienna, where the controversial leader of that right-wing party that took power in Austria just a few weeks ago has quit. Jörg Haider says that he's leaving the party because he doesn't want to stand in the way of the new government. Haider's past praise of Nazi employment policies generated an international outcry and threatened to turn Austria into a pariah state. Now to Africa, and the horrific scene still unfolding tonight in the country of Mozambique. It's been raining there for almost a month, sending rivers over their banks, completely flooding towns and villages. And even for those who've been able to scramble to any piece of high ground, help has been very slow in coming. More tonight from NBC's Kevin Tibbles.
A desperate scramble for survival tonight. 3 weeks of torrential rains unleashing the worst flooding in half a century in this Southeast African country of 17 million. Thousands believed dead, 500,000 homeless, most cities underwater. Telephone poles the only road markings, tens of thousands now without food and water for over a week. The lucky find something to cling to, a tree, a roof, but with no dry place to land, even rescue attempts are dangerous. There are only 5 helicopters in the entire country to save the stranded.
Aid workers and crews in these helicopters are being asked to make a choice, an awful choice. You have to choose who's going to live and who you're going to leave behind and hope that they're still there tomorrow.
The priority now to rescue the children. These young boys huddle on top of a submerged car. A rescue worker reaching for one suddenly realizes the others are losing their grip. Grabbing all 4, he cries out one is slipping away. He desperately struggles to hang on to the boys until they're all safely on board. This chopper so heavy with passengers it can barely stay in the air. Already one of the poorest countries in the world, and with an area the size of New Jersey and Massachusetts combined underwater, it's now facing overwhelming problems. 200,000 acres of crops wiped out, animal herds destroyed. The threat of epidemics. The stagnant waters already triggering outbreaks of cholera, malaria, and dysentery. And now the floods have unleashed a hidden killer, landmines, buried during a long civil war, now exposed. Tonight, the U.S. has pledged $1 million more in aid to help rescue the stranded, and the forecast, 3 more weeks of rain as the swollen rivers keep on rising. Kevin Tibbles, NBC News, London.
I'll be right back.
What's the last thing you'd expect a powerful 5,100-pound full-size SUV to be? Graceful. Gentle. Nimble. Light. The all-new Yukon XL with professional-grade agility. A full-size SUV that doesn't drive like one. Do one thing, do it well.
For itchy patches of dry winter skin, moisturizers can't always cut it. Try Cortisone 10 Plus. Among these, only Cortisone 10 Plus has 10 moisturizers, plus the power of Cortisone 10 to stop itch and help heal. Try Cortisone 10 Plus.
Well? I asked my doctor about Lipitor.
Ask your doctor what Lipitor can do for you, or call 1-888-LIPITOR to learn more. Lipitor.
When we asked some denture wearers why they don't use an adhesive, they didn't have a lot to say. On the
My dentist is fine. No problems here.
But after we gave them Fix-A-Dent, they just couldn't say enough.
Amazing, the difference. It's a great new feeling of security.
Comfort.
Confidence.
I just plain forget I have them. That's because Fix-A-Dent adjusts to the unique contours of your dentures and gums, forming a thin, powerful seal for a better hold than you ever thought possible.
I could just keep myself when I'm doing this too.
Find out for yourself what it feels like to Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
Uniroyal tires with nail guards heal most tread punctures instantly, permanently, and repeatedly. Nail guard tires, only from Uniroyal.
Tylenol House Calls. Information for healthy living.
My headaches just knock me out, right out of commission.
I get back pain. It can be brutal sometimes.
Arthritis pain in my shoulder.
There's so many reasons why people use pain relievers. And these days, so many choices as well.
I think they're all about the same, pretty much.
Actually, not all pain relievers are the same. Sometimes pain relievers like aspirin and even ibuprofen can cause stomach irritation. And in some cases, this irritation can occur without any symptoms.
I didn't know aspirin could do that.
One pain reliever that won't cause that kind of stomach irritation is the medicine in Tylenol. In fact, Tylenol is the safest type of pain reliever for your stomach. Questions? Talk to your doctor.
Another reason CNBC.com's portfolio tracker has been called the best on the web. Your stocks, ranked by analysts, on CNBC.com. Profit from it.
You've seen biography. You've gone behind the music. Now get closer on television's best place for real-life stories. Headliners and legends every night on MSNBC.
Tonight, Lifeline, our health series. How many times recently have you heard someone fail to recall a name or a number and then chalk up that failure to, quote, a senior moment? In fact, with the growing awareness of Alzheimer's disease, that senior moment comment is often a humorous attempt to deal with the real fears. But should every memory failure trigger fear? Here's NBC's Robert Bazell.
You dial the phone and forget the number or the name of the person you're calling. The first terrifying sign of Alzheimer's disease or just normal forgetfulness? Dr. Marilyn Albert is making major progress in revealing the early warning signs of Alzheimer's, so critical for the 75 million Americans over 50.
If we measure the function of the brain and we measure the structure of the brain, we see signs that tell us who's going to develop the disease in a few years.
One major sign, tiny changes in a part of the brain called the hypothalamus.
Butter, arm.
But more important for diagnosis now, memory tests like this. Dr. Albert and her team at Massachusetts General Hospital regularly test more than 200 healthy older people to see who gets Alzheimer's. One thing they find we need not worry about, forgetting names.
We don't consider it a sign of unusual difficulty at all because everybody has it.
But what are signs of danger?
Instead of having trouble maybe every month or every week, you're having trouble every day. And the nature of the trouble might be forgetting what people have told you, forgetting appointments, forgetting where you put things.
Another danger, the lack of what scientists actually call the aha factor. Everyone misplaces their keys occasionally, forgets where the car is parked. But the studies show that people with serious memory problems remain baffled even when they find them.
You say, oh, gee, I don't know. How did that happen? Oh, I don't remember driving in and parking my car there. That's the sign that should alarm people and bring someone for evaluation.
The studies reveal the danger signs involve more than memory. People who are getting the disease also lose what scientists call executive function, the ability to carry out several tasks at once. A very common example, the ability to cook.
What we see in women who are developing Alzheimer's disease is difficulty cooking recipes that they know well because this has to do with both memory and complex things going on simultaneously.
The goal of the research on early warning signs enable doctors to intervene as early as possible with new drugs and other treatments before Alzheimer's carries out its mind-robbing devastation. Robert Bazell, NBC News, Boston.
That's that news for this Monday night. I'm Tom Brokaw, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world. From KGW, where the news comes first, this is Northwest News Channel 8 at 6.
3 men hailed as heroes get a big payoff for doing the right thing. Tonight, the reward for chasing down a rapist and the emotional thank you from a rape survivor. Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy Berry. I'm Carol Jensen. Thank you for joining us tonight. Our top story, a windfall and reward money for 3 heroes in Hillsborough. News Channel 8's Kelly Love is live tonight. She has the story. Kelly, there was a large